It's not every day we get rumors or leaks coming from Pixar animation studios. In fact, very seldom will we see anything make the rounds online without coming from an official source, typically from cons like the D23 Expo or CinemaCon. That is until late, or so lately I can recall, a topic in which I touched on my video on Pixar's rumored Ducks musical, which is an albeit unconfirmed rumor that only surfaced a few months back. Now, maybe with age I've just grown more naive, and I'm just grasping at any information in this lull period before D23, but there is some legitimate information pushing me to discuss this topic, but it is also keeping me from showing too much since I believe Disney may be taking down some of the artwork that has been circulating this potential project. I've mentioned a few times as of late that there's rumors going around that there's going to be a third entry in both the Finding Nemo and the Incredibles franchises. This makes sense, both Finding Dory and Incredibles 2 were billion-dollar films, and right now Disney's at a stage where their biggest hits are becoming top priority for future films, especially in animation where Pixar fits right into what they're looking for, with entries like Inside Out 2 and Toy Story 5 already on the horizon. While I wouldn't put too much merit in these entries being 100% confirmed just yet, recent quotes from Bob Iger do indicate that flip-flopping between originals and sequels will be a lot more prevalent in the coming years, and I also think there's just story material for both, but more so with another Incredibles film in my opinion. On that note, I wouldn't have expected to hear anything in these realms, but I just so happened to stumble on some game-changing information just the other day. I'll stop stalling. The project that may have leaked out, presumably becoming a future Pixar release, is entitled Lonny and Clyde. Now, I'm not sure what the title or thumbnail is at this point, but I'm sure you're a little bit confused if you never heard about this, because this isn't some new original from the studio. Technically, there's plenty of concept art and details circulating this film, and what they reveal is that it's a spin-off set within the Incredibles universe. While these two characters I mentioned, Lonny and Clyde, are not familiar names or faces to the franchise thus far, one character who I'm sure we all know, Frozone, or Lucius Best, is set to play what looks to be a substantial role in this. Along with Frozone is his wife, Honey, who appears in the concept art, and while never appearing in either Incredibles movie, she has the same design as her unused concept art from the second film. Now, I wish I could show some of the concept art myself, but the account that posted some of this on Twitter has mysteriously deleted all their posts, and I don't want the Walt Disney Company nuking my channel, so I'll play it safe and just provide comparable concept art, as well as other imagery to give you the idea of what I'm talking about. Lonny and Clyde obviously play on the notorious crime duo Bonnie and Clyde, from what has been revealed could be a movie or a show. If Incredibles 3 is in development, maybe they'd want to introduce those characters there and spin them off into a Disney Plus series, as that's likely what they're doing with the upcoming Inside Out show, or it could be a movie releasing on its own or with another Incredibles. The main character, Lonny, is a young kid who finds himself under the care of Frozone and Honey, and also Clyde, their pet, Weasel. I think it's a pet. They seem to have a close attachment to the animal. I don't believe Lonny is a child of the two, perhaps in foster care, but I think the most likely is it's just a kid that was caught up in some superhero shenanigans, where the best take the kid and the weasel under their wing to help guide. All the concept art, which you could probably find with a simple search, looks pretty legitimate. I've seen a whole lot of pre-production and storyboards from the studio, and these are pretty on the money, and not something that can be easily faked. There are some spelling errors for atypical things such as Lucius and Weasel, but I can't tell if that gives the art more credibility or less. There's of course a non-0% chance this is fake, fan art possibly, or that current hot topic of AI meant to mimic this particular style. All very possible. I don't believe this to be AI from what I've seen. It could be a skilled artist trying to deceive, though this project hasn't been talked about besides in a few very niche spaces. The concept art I saw circulating came from a post by a Twitter account called Cartoon Updates. They don't have this post up or anything else right now. They seem to just drop information and leave, but I think very recently they got suspended for such behaviors. They mainly seem to leak information pertaining to Paramount projects and Nickelodeon, which falls under that same umbrella, lighter stuff like info on feature-length movies for Nickelodeon cartoons and The Knuckles Show. They do have an email where they've likely been receiving this information from different sources, which could be disgruntled employees. I just don't know why people would risk those NDAs though. The account also appears to have leaked some storyboards on Pixar's Win or Lose a few years back, and while that flew way under the radar, it does show a previous track record with Pixar in this space. In my attempt to dig up some more information on this, I found a tweet dating back to last fall which mentions the project, but it only being that it had leaked out. I do think this might be real. There's a lot of concept art that came out of this, depicting a wide array of settings, but none of which being too outlandish, and this is something very much in line with the Incredibles universe as we know it. A Frozone spinoff has been asked for years at this point. There's tons of concept art of people dreaming up Lucius's superpowered family, and he's just one of the most popular characters in Pixar's canon who could serve a spinoff, even if not the main character. He can sell tickets for sure. I do just wonder if this may turn away fans who wanted him to be the lead of the project. Being a spinoff though, I could see this project no longer being in development as maybe Lightyear's performance turned them away from such ventures, though this would be set to use the same version of Frozone that we all already know, and maybe some other Incredibles characters would show up in their standard forms. This also could just be a short film sent to Disney Plus or to play before a theatrical release, perhaps to boost the attendance in original features, a la Carl's Date with Elemental. It would be weird to bring in characters we know and love for the first time in nearly a decade just for a short, but they did kind of do that with Wheezy in Out, to be fair. This is the kind of project I'd like to see though, as I'm interested in seeing what the Incredibles world looks like after the second film, and that can extend beyond our core cast of characters, as the concept art features some fun things like new superheroes, maybe being superpowered villains, and fun ideas like action figures based on them. I think there's a lot to explore with this idea, and it could even serve in the place of Incredibles 3 if Brad Bird can't come back for that. Right now we're ramping up for D23, so we're going to start seeing a lot more rumors of projects, and with that, a lot of totally fake projects being rumored in small little forums and whatnot. It's a fun time. We will definitely be getting information there in just a couple of months, and who knows, we could be hearing about this one. Between the Ducks project I talked about not too long ago and this one, I honestly believe them both to be real. I feel the Ducks musical is much more likely at this point, but I think they're both happening, or at least projects that were both being planned to happen at one point. And I'm leaning towards Lonny and Clyde being developed as a theatrical film. If this was being planned as a Disney Plus series, it's more than likely it's been cancelled, especially as Pixar is facing layoffs, as they've planned to move away from the space. This may have happened with the rumored Dream Productions show based on Inside Out, or the most hopeful outcome, these were too far in development so they'll still see the light of day, but that's never guaranteed. Resources could have always transformed the project into something theatrical if that's the case as well. I just can't imagine a project in one of their biggest franchises being totally canned, even if it is a spin-off. What do you all think though? Have you seen the concept art? Do you think this has any standing, and what type of project do you think it could be? Would you be interested in this spin-off idea or any others like it in the future? Thank you all for watching all the way to the end. I look forward to seeing if I can provide a real update on this potential project, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.